Hello, everyone. My name is Sean. I am the Crypto Smith, and here we find ourselves at the mercy of the SEC once again. This all started yesterday. Brian Armstrong tweeting out, "We're hearing rumors that the SEC would like to get rid of crypto staking in the U.S. for retail customers. I hope that's not the case, as I believe it would be a terrible path for the U.S. if that was allowed to happen." He went on to say staking is a really important innovation in crypto. It allows users to participate directly in running open crypto networks. Staking brings many positive improvements to the space, including scalability, increased security, and reduced carbon footprints. Now, he goes on to say he obviously thinks staking is a good thing. Okay, now he is the CEO of a major crypto platform. Staking brings more eyeballs, therefore brings more money to his platform. Certainly he doesn't want to see that shut down. And then goes on, regulation by enforcement doesn't work, as we already know. It encourages companies to operate offshore, which is what happened with FTX. So basically, they're kind of catching wind. Something's coming down the pike, and that was yesterday afternoon. And today we're hearing Bitcoin dropping in price as the news of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has launched a probe into Kraken, right? I think it's the world's third largest crypto exchange, over whether it illegally traded unregistered securities. According to Bloomberg, SEC is investigating Kraken for possibly breaking security rules when offering certain products to those living in the U.S. Now, per the report, the investigation may be nearing a close with a possible settlement coming within days. Which tokens or other products sparked the SEC probe remains unknown. And then we move on to Bitcoin.com, and they reported today, just a few hours ago, Kraken winds down staking program, pays $30 million to settle unregistered offering of staking services case with the SEC. So obviously, this case has been ongoing. The SEC got Kraken to bend the knee, and now they're going to pay $30 million, which in this kind of a case probably isn't a huge sum of money for them, but it is something. Now, here's what this all means. Now that the SEC has one cryptocurrency, very large cryptocurrency exchange, bend the knee, now all the others are expected to follow. And Gary Gensler, chair of the SEC, explained that virtual asset service providers need to exercise compliance when offering these investment tools to their customers, whether it's offering staking as a service, lending, or other means, crypto intermediaries when offering investment contracts in exchange for investor tokens. They need to provide the proper disclosure and safeguards required by securities laws. And furthermore, Gensler declared that the action carried out by the SEC means that every staking as a service provider must now register and provide full, fair, and truthful disclosure and investor protection. Director of the SEC Division of Enforcement also criticized the action of Kraken's staking programs, stating it provided zero insight into the condition of the company to pay the marketed returns. So here it is again, right? Now, I'll be honest, not a huge fan of staking. When you're talking about just centralized exchange staking, to me, it's a gimmick. It's just to get people on board. A lot of them offer unrealistic returns, and that's where all of these problems started to happen. When you have staking platforms that generally are going to do well in a bull market, they're going to end up failing once you're in a bear market and the prices start going down and people start pulling their money out. There's no longer any availability to continue to pay, the crazy high interest rates that they're offering, the APYs, and that's when things fall apart, right? That's what they're really going after. I'm not going to tell you that I agree with the SEC on this, but to me, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Also, the SEC and banks, the major banks here, they look at this as a bank-type product. If you're basically giving up something like money in order to get a return over time, right, that is a banking product, and that they want that to be regulated. Obviously, the major banks here don't want you taking your money onto a crypto exchange and getting 4, 5, 6% or 10%, whatever there is they're offering. They want you to put your money in the local bank and get your 0.001%, right, that they've been paying. So I can see how this all plays out. Not a fan of the SEC at all. I think they're run by a bunch of criminals. And they really don't have the public interest in mind. They really don't have the individual retail investor in mind. They're all about protecting large banks, which are their friends, and other large financial institutions. So that's where we're at right now. We do need clarity, and let's just keep in mind the rules that crypto is supposed to be playing by were written out in 1933, right? That's when the initial securities laws came out. 40 years after that was the first PC, personal computer. 75 years after these rules are written, that's when Bitcoin was invented and cryptocurrency started, right? And that was 10 years ago. So, we're 85 years after the fact, and the SEC and Gary Gensler says, oh, it should be very clear, right? We don't need any new laws. There's no way they, back in 1933, could even have imagined even the concept of cryptocurrency. So, yeah, there does need to be new laws. Hopefully, Congress this year are able to get something done, although I'm not very hopeful on that, and it's probably going to bleed into 2024 and 2025. So this is where we find ourselves, right? I'm not upset that staking may be gone for these exchanges. I thought it was a gimmick anyway. It didn't really serve any purpose other than to get more money onto these platforms. And if you think about it, if you're locking your tokens, your coins away for a certain period of time, you have no access to them, right? And that's what happened with all of these other exchanges that went down. Customers lost their funds because even if you knew ahead of time, like, hey, it looks like something bad's coming, some bear market's about to turn, or some black swan event you're afraid of, you can't do anything to take your tokens out. They're locked, right? And that's what you got. You had to risk your tokens in order for some sort of more than likely unrealistic returns, and then that's the risk you take. These platforms go down, you lost all your money, right? And that's why these things happen. That's why the SEC is out there trying to get all of these platforms in compliance with their standard. Whether it's necessary or not, we're not really sure, but we're going to see this play out more and more until regulation is actually dropped by Congress. So, unfortunately, those are the things that we have to deal with. And just to let you know, here is what is also going to happen, right? This is just Kraken here. And then we heard Brian Armstrong from Coinbase, who said he thought it was a bad idea. But guess what? Here's the best crypto staking platforms of 2023. This was written today, or updated February 9th. This is Forbes Advisor, and it gives Kraken as the number one, right? And if this was updated today, I don't know why it doesn't say anything about it's no longer available. But Kraken, okay, they're out of the game. Gemini, they're having some really, really hard times themselves. I won't be surprised if these guys go under. KuCoin is not in the U.S., but there is a way the SEC or the U.S. government can stop American or U.S. users from using that platform. And they can do it, and they'll go after them as well, just like the SEC is going after Binance. Coinbase, right? They're going to end up halting all of their staking as well, and binance.us. So that's where we are, unfortunately. If you're staking your tokens anywhere right now, I would highly recommend you get them unstaked whenever you can and put them aside until you can figure out where this thing is going to end up. So that's where I'm going to leave it for now. The SEC wins, Kraken loses, crypto in general really loses, because this just emboldens Gary Gensler and the SEC to continue these enforcement actions without actually creating any real clear rules, which is what we need. So that's it for today. You guys make sure you keep your cryptos secure, and I'll see you guys next time.